Hello, so this is Dr. Edwards, and we're going to cover Chapter 11, the muscular system. And so this chapter, if you look at the full notes as well as the exam review sheet, you'll notice that there's very specific things we want you to look at here. There's a lot in Chapter 11 that's covered in lab, so we're not going to necessarily spend a whole lot of time on that, but we're going to focus on the details you need for your lecture exam. All right, so let's get started. So we're going to be covering definitions. We're going to cover first class, second class, and third class levers in their relation to your muscles and joints. We'll be covering axial musculature and axial musculature. We'll be covering what things levers can change, what kind of information you can tell about a muscle based on its name. You'll be able to learn about factors that determine the effect on skeletal muscle contraction, and we're going to learn about some medical terms. All right. So here are some of the terms that we're going to be going over now, and we're going to split this video up into 3 segments. So just so you know, we're only going to cover a few in this one, and then we'll have 2 more videos after this to finish up the chapter. So the videos are short and sweet, to the point. All right, so let's start out with patterns that the muscle striations or muscle fibers can run. So we have parallel muscles, and these are examples of muscles that the fascicles will follow a long axis. Things like your rectus abdominis muscles. And term you also want to know here is the body of a muscle is the central area of the muscle. All right, you also have convergent muscles that cover a broad area, but they start coming together at one point. Another example term for that is a raft, which is a slender band of collagen fibers. So remember, we learned about collagen in our study of connective tissue. 3, pinnate muscles, and these are muscles that go at an angle with a tendon. You also have circular muscles that are like sphincters, and they're fibers that go in a circle. So things like your orbicularis oris and orbicularis oculi, those are circular muscles. All right. More definitions. So this is biology or anatomy, but there's still some physics involved, and so things like levers. The context here is that levers are rigid structures, and the fulcrum is a fixed point that can actually move. All right, so we'll talk about what that means in terms of your muscles and joints. All right, so we also talk about origins, insertions, and actions. So an origin is a fixed point of attachment of your muscle to the bone, so it's the point that's fixed. Whereas the insertion is the movable point of the attachment. Okay, so you have 2 points where a muscle is going to attach. One is fixed and one is movable. All right, so you think of muscles on a bone, they'll have 2 places where they attach. And so one of those is going to be fixed, the other is going to be movable so that you have movement along a certain joint. Okay, so if you think about your biceps brachii in your arm, right? So if you're moving and you're doing the motion, the action, right, which is the movement produced by muscle contraction here, the action. Remember, we're decreasing the angle if we flex our biceps. So we're flexing or doing flexion. When you do that, you're moving your forearm up. And so the origin is going to be up in the upper part of your humerus, and the attachment point will be more distal to that, right? So that's the more movable point. So it allows your lower or forearm to move up, right, to flex your arm. Okay, more terms. So you have the agonist or prime mover. Those 2 terms mean the same thing, and that's the muscle that's primarily responsible for a specific movement. So when you lift weights or you do exercises, you have a primary muscle that does a specific movement. You also have synergist, which assists that prime mover, assists the agonist. So like if you're doing a push-up, the pectoralis major in your chest is the prime mover, but your triceps are going to be synergists. They're going to assist you with that movement. Okay, so You also have antagonists, which oppose the muscle or oppose the movement of your agonist. Okay, and usually these are the muscles that produce the complementary movement. So in the case of, again, going back to flexing our biceps, the antagonist is going to be your triceps brachii. Okay, it's opposing the flexion, which means it does more of an extension. All right, so those are your prime mover, agonist, antagonist, and synergist. Okay, so that's enough terms I think for right now. So we're going to do our check for understanding. So like we did in class, we used to use the whiteboards to do these. We're going to do these where you are while you're watching the video. So I'm going to ask you to stop the video after each question, think about it, and then you can maybe write your answer down on something on a piece of paper or on your computer, and then we'll see if you're right. If you're watching this as a watch party with your classmates, you can discuss the answers with them, or if you're just at home with some of your family and friends, you can have them, you can explain the answers to them. All right. So first question, in blank muscles, the fascicles grow along the long axis. So, pause the video here and think about what you're going to write down here as the answer. Okay, so let's see what the answer is. So it is in parallel muscles the fascicles follow a long axis. All right, so let's look at the next question. All right, in blank muscles, the fascicles go at an angle with the tendon. Okay, again, pause the video, think about your answer, discuss with your classmates if you're watching together online, or discuss with someone who's at home with you. All right, let's see about the answer. All right, it is in pinnate muscles the fascicles go at an angle with the tendon. Next question, a blank is a fixed point that moves. All right, so pause the video, think about your response. If you're watching it with someone, or whether they're with you or online, go ahead and discuss what you think the answer is with them. Okay, the answer is fixed point that moves is a fulcrum. Okay. Next question, a blank is a fixed point of attachment of muscle to bone. Okay, so pause here, think about your response, and go ahead and ask if you're watching with someone, go ahead and ask them what you think the right answer is and give them an opportunity to respond. Okay, so the correct answer is an origin is a fixed point of attachment of muscle to bone. Okay, and blank is a movement produced by muscle contraction. Okay, a blank is a movement produced by muscle contraction. So you take time, pause the video, think about what you think the response is, and if you're watching with someone there with you or online, go ahead and discuss what you think the correct answer is. All right, so let's find out. An action is a movement produced by muscle contraction. All right. And blank opposes the movement of the agonist or prime mover. And blank opposes the movement of the agonist or prime mover. Okay, so take a moment, think about what the response would be, and you can go ahead and pause the video, and if you're with someone, go ahead and discuss it with them. Okay, let's see what the answer is. It is an antagonist that opposes the movement of the agonist or prime mover. Next question, a blank is a smaller muscle that assists the prime mover. Okay, so take a minute, write down what you think the correct answer is, and discuss with a partner. All right, someone who's watching with you online or in person. Okay. Okay, let's see what the answer is. It is a synergist. It's a smaller muscle that assists the prime mover. All right, so we're going to stop here and in the video, and then we'll pick up at part 2, and we'll go ahead and start from here. So talk to you soon.